When people leave the military, they lose their identity, their purpose, and their structure. When they walk out that gate, that's what happens. You know, for me, I was a Royal Marine, I was a Special Forces operator. As soon as I left, I didn't know who I was, because I'd done that since school. My purpose and structure all disappeared because I lived and breathed that line of work. There's been something that's been eating away at me for quite a while, and I've wanted to voice it, but because there's such a tide going with the thing that's eating me, I kind of like held back. But I almost feel like now I've got to, because it needs to change. I don't think we need to raise awareness for PTSD. I think we need to be raising awareness about post-traumatic growth, the positive sides of going through something. Maybe if people realize if they are going through a struggle, maybe if they see that it's not all doom and gloom, that there is another option at the end of the road. I remember when I was going through my stuff, I was kind of, how am I going to get out of this? All my instincts that have kept me alive in hostile environments, everything that I've had to rely on, I'm now being told I can't rely on it. And if that's true, when am I ever going to come out of it? My life is over, my life is doomed. So actually, if that's the narrative that we keep telling, and you keep scrolling through social media and seeing that, and it just emphasizes that to you, that's only going to lead to more problems. So with Op Spartan, I want us to tell the story of the solution. Yes, there's a problem. Yes, it's serious, but let's focus on the solution. We don't need to be focusing on the problem. We never did in the military. If we plan something and we come up against an enemy, there used to be a saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. As soon as you come into contact with the enemy, your plan changes, and we adapt to that. We don't dwell on it. We've still got a mission, and that's what we should be doing now. We see the problem, we see the enemy. Okay, now how do we maneuver around it? And I think that's my own input to it, and that's what I'm really passionate about. I think what's really different about Op Spartan is that there's a lot of groups out there, and through no fault of their own, they focus on the problem. I want to change the narrative, and I keep saying to people, let's focus on the solution, not the problem. We set the Facebook group up in October last year, like October 2019. And the whole idea of the Facebook group was just to see if there was an appetite for what I wanted to deliver. And we were really surprised. I mean, it was almost, I almost struggled to keep up with the demand for it. Almost through its own momentum, is now picked up to a point where the website's underway. We're now also looking to have an Op Spartan HQ, which will be more of an industrial type property that we can make into something where we will have facilities that, like, you know, a hub essentially, where people can come, meet up, maybe socialize, be around like-minded people, get away from whatever stresses there are in their normal lives. We want to have facilities that people can use for one-on-one coaching, maybe even seminars, mindset stuff, and essentially just be that focal point for people in the community that I can come to. I think the thing I would like to say to the community that we've built up is how the strength of Op Spartan is dictated by the buy-in from every member. And because we need to be telling a different story. If you start telling a different story, you start getting a different outcome. And that's the thing I really want to get across. I'm not telling people, I'm not trying to micromanage people, but I've learned from my own experience, from the people I've coached, from the life-saving work that we've done, and the people that have actually been through and come out the other side and listen to their story. You need to tell a different story. You need to tell a different story collectively for it to raise the vibration of the group essentially, and raise that mindset. If you keep telling the story of why me, you'll keep finding reasons to feel like that. I know it's not as simple as as that for some people, and I know there's a lot of people going through stuff, but I do think that if you can look at things and say, I take 100% responsibility for my results, for where I am now, I need to do something about it for me. Not only do you take responsibility, you also then, it's more empowering. You then become the commander of your ship. You're not a passenger on this journey where you're just going to get beat up and kind of by life. You then start to take ownership and actually, right, okay, so I'm not happy with this. What can I do about it? And I think we all need to do that. Each one of us, as a veteran, as someone in the military or blue light, needs to say, do you know what, yeah, I used to look forward to challenges. The reason I joined the military was for the challenge, and I felt amazing. The challenges that you're going through now are no different. Use it as a challenge, use it as a kind of, as your growth, as your kind of fuel, and get through it. And that's what we need to be doing together.